때문에 가이레바 이득 안 쓰네. 오케이. Alright. Oh, the volume isn't quite. What? Why is it so low? I might get hit by copyright for this, I don't know. I will find out. It's fine though. Okay. Anyways, same as always. Actually, I don't know if anyone ever hears me speak in the beginning, since no one's really here right off the bat, for the most part. Actually, for the most part, someone usually is, but anyways, today is the same thing. I just need to continue to work on the structure. Ah, man. Yes, this doesn't look that good anymore. I thought it would look nice if there's like a bit of a disruption in this flow, but I'm guessing it's not actually that nice because the middle part is metal. It has to stay straight, so it's not like I can do this and then do that exactly, which also doesn't really look that good if I'm being honest. So this will just get scrapped. I just want something a little bit more natural and more energetic rather than just being like a square over here. Alright, I gotta stay on top of the copyright today because I might get hit here. If I do get hit, I'll just switch off of it at that point in time, which is just fine. Okay, so yeah, rendering is still gonna be a problem, I think. My instinct, if I let myself run as free as possible, so be as original as possible, the lines are gonna be very messy. But if I wanna have something clean, yeah, if I wanna have something clean, that might not fly. So I'm thinking maybe I should stick to cleaner lines. So I still haven't decided just yet. So I'm gonna once again be a little bit distracted in some way, which is to draw, which is to go for like a warm up somewhere else and then come back to get the lines again over here. But before that, I do want to sort out the layout here first, because I've been a little bit too slow on this. Oh, actually that reminds me, I found like a perfect reference for the sleeves today at work. Well, not working. And it's by Rhino Tuner, I'm not sure which one it is. Let me just bring that up real quick. Okay. Oh, copy image link. Wait, if I copy image link and I paste the link, doesn't it load for me? It does. And then if I right click source, it actually opens the source, doesn't it? No way. I think this will actually work. Actually, this will work so much better. Then I don't have to keep track of the source anymore. God damn. Could have done that earlier. But anyways, I've got good reference for the sleeve, I suppose. Just some ideas for the shapes, like how they might have broken this up, because it's gonna get super boring if I don't do anything there. We also don't have necessarily a lot of like materials like this that have a lot of shapes in there. I do suppose this will have a lot of lines. We do have this kind of material. I don't know what to call it. Where's my stuff? Here. But anyways, let's just get this on the road here. Let's see. Hama. Wipe this down again. Oh, bro. Hello, George. I really appreciate Porter Robinson not just like copywriting to the point where you cannot even use it, right? I can do it on stream with all the Porter Robinson sets and stuff, and I don't get taken down. That's really nice. Yeah, she gets some pretty good music. Not to say that the others are in the wrong for doing so, but like, that's nice. Okay, this feels a little bit better. This feels a little bit more, should I say realistic? I don't know actually. I don't know if it's necessarily much more realistic than not doing it like this, but Oh, actually, haven't I? Did he say that in an interview? I felt like I've seen that before. I feel like I've seen it before somewhere. Oh yeah, I remember like in the past, like pirating. Get all the key gens, get all the cracks, and then put it in the folder, and then try to run it. And then I always have to. I remember that I always try to make sure I will play the game for a bit first before I fully commit to playing a game, like resetting and playing it again, because I need to make sure the saving feature works. Sometimes I remember I got burned before for it not working, and I lost a lot of my progress or something. So ever since then, I had like a standard operating procedure for all those kind of games. And then later on, it was just entirely because of I don't know, the risk of virus, the risk of the difficulty of having to deal with finding things that work and stuff like that, that I just decided, hey, just pay for it. Anyways, I hope you're doing fine, George, and you and your project with Lord. Well, were you guys doing it together? I can't remember if it was together or you guys are doing it separately, but together. Like separate project, but together perhaps. Oh, I don't really want to have really sharp points. It's over. Oh shit, that's nice. Was it like I guess you guys, is it like an assignment thing again? Many bugs? Many future features. Very cool. Oh man, I found the holy grail of bugs today. It was absolutely one of those like bucket list bugs. Because it literally was one line of code that was left in there because of testing. And that was it. Because of that one line of testing code, production broke. I mean, production didn't break, but people like QA found it. That was really funny. Because I'm like, what's happening here? I just revamped this like 2 months ago. But then I was working on it with another person, and the other person left a single liner in there that just force set a value that it's not supposed to set because he wanted to test, right? That's very logical. He even added a comment there that said that it was test code. Otherwise, I wouldn't have known. I'd have been really puzzled why that was there. But I said that it was test code, and then I saw that, oh yeah, this is the place that's causing the issue. So I guess he just forgot. So that is absolutely a bucket list bug. Like, it's the fastest resolution ever. Very cool, very cool. Yeah, thank God he left the comment. And the funny thing is, like, he is pretty senior, right? Like, not just in the company, but maybe in age. I haven't met the guy before because everyone's like kind of remote. But he had the audacity to go onto like the bug tracking application and be like, hey, I checked on my end, everything is fine. Can you explain why this is happening? And then he called me by my full name. I'm like, what are you doing, dude? I was going to not mention the problem on the tracker, right? Because there's no reason that I have to mention that, hey, there's just something debug left. I'll just tell them that, hey, you know, I found it and a fix is coming. That's all I would have said. But because he called me out, I had to copy and paste his code and leave it in the damn thing. I don't know, man. Like, if he asks for it, I can't not reply him because he is more senior. So he kind of dug his own grave there. But that is not my problem, I guess. So a lot of interesting things. I think for the most part, everything should be ready here. I like some of these curves a bit more, but okay, this one maybe should be a little bit more interesting. Let me see. So previously, I think some of the curves are a little bit too normal, I think. Like, it was really consistent. It was like, I don't know how to say it. It looks really not that interesting, very flat. I'm trying to bring some energy into this by making the curve not necessarily that realistic, but just a little bit more in the motion, perhaps. Do I want it there? I don't think so though. I think it looks a bit weird opening up. Yeah, it doesn't open up necessarily. Not like that at least. So it would have to be in this direction. Kind of. What do I want here, right? So it's like this kind of a thing. Let me just knock this up. Huh? But it wouldn't be that distorted, I don't think. Yeah, in fact it would be a lot more just this way, so realistically it would be like that. But I don't want it to be so boring looking. Color hair and dressing ends out like a mess. If you find you're ending up drawing like a mess, just a disclaimer, I have a lot of problems drawing hair myself as well. Because I don't know what stylization I want to go for. But if you are just trying to find your own way, try to group shapes. Like you keep the shapes as big as possible in the beginning and only cut up stuff that you need. Like for example, like this area here, right? Like, where's my color rough? Actually, it's oh shit. I think it's here. Oh man, it's lagging. It's a bit small here. It's kind of hard to see. But if you can basically kind of like, you see how like this is a sphere here, right? This part here is a sphere. If the light comes in, for the most part, you want to keep like a big shape. Maybe like just like this part being the bright part. And then you can start to erase and erase into this area here so that you can start getting smaller blocks here. If you start off with a big shape and only put smaller shapes along the edges like this, it will be a lot less messy. This will immediately make things a lot less messy because you don't have like the 10 bajillion shapes everywhere. And then later on, you can like refine the round edges to be something a little bit more sharp or like follows your hair shape. You can try something like this. This is definitely a good way to like work. It's just that I don't personally like how it ends up. That's why I'm still very confused as to what I should do. But if you are just trying to find your own way, start with big shapes and only cut the small shapes. Cut into small shapes along the edges of the shape, for example. So in this case, you have a circle that represents the thing. You have a very rudimentary version of light and dark. And because the direction of the hair is going like that, it will be natural to then cut up only around the edges here, right? And then leave the middle as big as possible. And then you can have some addition. You can extend some of these to go beyond the circle, right? So you don't have to follow the circle anymore. The circle really is just there to help you to get started. And then beyond that, you can just figure out yourself. As long as you make a conscious effort to keep shapes big, it will be a lot less messy. You will see a very quick change as long as you change this to this approach. And then as for the other things, like for example, like big areas like this, yeah, these things are kind of hard. I don't really know what I'm gonna do for mine even at this stage in time. I might actually cop out because for mine there is another dimension to this, is that because the design is meant to be a magazine cover, it actually doesn't matter if I keep it a little bit simpler as long as the colors look good, right? But I'll figure out what is going to happen later. In the meantime, I think this might be all the stuff that I can offer. Yeah, why is my ask stuff? Wait, how did ask do the back hair again? Yes, no problem, Maxi. Also hello, Maxi. That should have been first. I forgot. Yeah. This is gonna be a problem. Yeah, if I do the front hair well, I actually do not really need to care about the back too much because the details will be handled by this group in the front. So it will actually be beneficial to keep this empty, just so that we have areas to rest, and also to emphasize this, because if the back is going crazy, this is going to be maybe a little bit less impressive. I'm not sure though. Well, future me is going to find out. Let me try and grab this motion in. So this arm is going up, so everything is lagging behind. This one, I'm just not sure. She would have shot out the arm like that. So maybe it was just trying to go forwards. What about this? This is if you jump and you stop, you start to slow down, but the clothing carries forwards. And this is yeah, like, if I'm trying to keep the movement consistent, then everything should be sagging behind, perhaps. But then you don't get the under boob, which is a main focal in this case. So I don't think that's an option. Everything else is already what it could be, I think. So that is, this is probably it. So the remaining problem is just line art and rendering. Okay. No need to make things more complicated than it needs to be. Yes, sir. Where is my shoe again? Oh, I forgot to find him in game. He's actually not in game today. Never mind. Yeah, he's not in game today, so I can't just get a copy of the shoe up close. The sizing might be a little bit too different, but then given that it's going into the background, this should be acceptable. It doesn't look that odd to me, necessarily. But I'm hoping it's not just because it's just... Yeah, it's not just because I haven't seen it yet. They're only smaller by about this amount here. Right, so it will actually be here. And then, yeah, it should extend out. So the target enters here. And then it will down, come out again, and then finish it up. It looks really wide compared to what I felt, but it is kind of wide, isn't it? It's not as wide as this, I think. Then what? Can I collapse this? And then I want to do that maybe? Oh wait, that's movement here, right? So the leg is going this way. Pivot, swing. The lag will be behind this way, in this direction. So my shoelaces should come out this way, I guess. This should be the same thing. forget this. This target is actually a bit higher. But that's fine. I think this one I can. Kind of. But I can change the balance, I think, if I want. Oh wait, is that junk on my screen? Oh, that's literally junk. Okay, never mind. Nothing, guys. I have to deal with this still. This is the most complex thing because it's not that regular. It's not like a regular shape, and also with the movement too. So since this is being sent upwards, I'm gonna send this up too. The hair is gonna get covered, but thankfully on this side it's actually shorter, so it's not like we're gonna block any design elements in that case. So it's probably a little bit more acceptable. I think it's kind of sad that the shoes, the tongue, is it called the tongue of the shoe, is not visible because it's the place where you get like the two stripes at the bottom here. But in exchange, we get like a side view and a top view, which I think is also pretty good, I suppose, to showcase design if that's the case. And over here, man, I need the perspective for the base of this. This is a bit early at this point. So yeah, there's a bit of an area here for the thickness, I think. So there should be a bit of space here. Kind of like that. Okay. Yeah, that will assume it's clipping onto that, so it's probably okay this way. So I'm gonna lock this. It's kind of big now. It's kind of not big enough. If it's gonna be that big, I think the perspective might be... Okay. Might have to be emphasized a little bit more. I'm not sure though. Oh, I should redraw this. If this is over here, yeah, realistically you can't exactly twist it to this point. I don't think it would fit in the hole here. Can you? How important is realism in this case, I wonder? It would probably bother me if I saw someone draw it in a way that doesn't make sense. So I can only, wait. Yeah. I should lock this part first. So if I lock it in, if it's flat, which is raised, it would end up being like this or something. Which is too close to the face. I want it here, I think. But if I do it this way, then I might not have any... Might not get to see a lot of the surfaces of this thing. Which could be a good thing. Maybe that's a good thing. Oh, but if this is really bland, then maybe this can help break up the shape. Wait, the hair will reach here only. This is here. So this part here is a big empty space. Which could be fine, right? Because then it has details, and then this would be low detail. Actually, it might be a good balance, actually, to have this empty here, and empty here, and empty here. We might, like, have accidentally sort of balanced it out a little bit more. Okay, yeah, this part is tricky. You'll be able to see the other side of the zip. I think at this angle. I think you might just see a little bit of it. And then the other hole is here. So it's more square? No, it's not necessarily more square of a hole, but it is a bit closer to the top here, the edge. And then a wider gap, and then this guy. So that means this part here is going to be empty. Okay. These are really big sleeves. Hair will be inside. Yeah, ours is quite small though. Can I bump this up then? Yeah, even this is still kind of small. It's a lot bigger than the face actually. Where am I gonna get the space though? But if there's no space, isn't that also pretty good for us? Right, the hand is covering that, so I don't care about the connection point. Over here, though. So I'm expecting the hair to come in here, right? So I'm expecting it to block out most of this. I'm actually gonna explicitly block it up, I think. Because the choice is either to block it up completely or leave some of the details behind through. But then there's a good chance that it will get really messy. So it's best to just keep everything that's all these gaps here, like one color here. And then we extend this out maybe a little bit just so we can block everything here. We do have the little spiky spikes. It's about eye level though, so I can push it a bit higher. I can push it a bit higher here. Just gonna make it match here. Right, also this block here needs to be checked. Put in correctly here. It is following the curve, I think. So it would be this way. Don't want any curves here. Target is okay. Actually, wouldn't it be interesting if she's using 3 fingers instead of a peace sign? Wouldn't that actually fit the motif a little bit more? It would be very out of the ordinary, but in this case it might be fine. Oh, is that 2 on the nose? We can sleep on that. Still. But the hair actually goes in, huh? So this technically should be inside, but ours is too tight here. Yeah, but if I'm going to do tricks to block stuff up, actually might as well make this bigger then. Then I need to match the width. Oh no, this side is wider. Oh, it is. Wait, is it just because we're on this side? I think it is, but... Yeah, it's balanced. Okay, that makes sense. But we are on this side anyways, so might as well take the opportunity here. And this changes the vibe a little bit more than I would like though. Yeah, where's my entry point here? Actually... around here. Hello, Circle. I think you're at the wrong stream, if that's who you're looking for. Hello, G-Talk. Man, G-Talk. You're always here. But I've only ever seen you say hi, and that's cool for sure. Lamal, thank you, Circle. Yes, please don't. You call me wherever you want when we're like just like, you know, like this, like where it's just me. But there's other people here. Oh man, it'll be really awkward. Never mind art god. I think like when I first started out, people were trying to call me sensei, and that's yeah, we should maybe save that for like about 5 years down the line, hopefully. Okay, maybe 5 years down, maybe even longer down the line. Oh my god, I kind of hate. This is a personal thing about the shapes, I think. I don't like drawing hair like this just because I don't like the shape of how elongated everything is and how wide everything is. Because it's like a giant mushroom that kind of just opens up like that, like these. My characters will never have this hairstyle. I can guarantee you, they'll never do this. But it does present an interesting. What should I do here? Anyways, I can probably figure it out some of the time. I need to figure out the back hair. That is the trickiest part of this everything. Everything else, I think you can sort of construct and then figure it out somehow. The hair, however, for the most part, is just gonna be vibes, I think. It's just gonna be shapes and vibes. And, you know, like Ask has these really cool shapes, but they're too dynamic, perhaps. They're very twisty and turny. Or they are like just very much in the wind kind of vibe. Then we have these more tame ones. And I think, but we don't have a lot of the references actually. It could be an interesting way to keep people motivated, calling people art god. It's just that it has to fit the I guess the expectation, I do suppose. Yeah, I think maybe let's keep the back hair simple too. I just need I need two planes of existence here. I need one that is the outer side and one that's the inner side, and that's it. So we just kind of roughly set up the shape first. And then figure out the ends. Yeah, this is like what Ass does is 100% like just like from a bunch of experience of constantly drawing and constantly refining. And bringing her own personal preference in, and then trying to match the whole energy of the thing. It's just years and years and years of experience. I don't even know how to copy the shapes. I can stare at it and I still don't know how to get something that looks super similar. But there's one thing that I did notice, like when we first started streaming here, is that where is it? Let me see. I have a guide here. So we did some like general Ass sort of hair studies. And I started to notice that, hey, between what I drew, because I drew the same pose, the same angle, the same head, with the same kind of hair design, and then I compared to them, right? And they have slenderer forms, so the shapes are always very long. All of these, like, groups of hair are always very long and narrow. You never see something really wide and short, for the most part, anyways. And, yeah, so anything that is tapered is super dragged out. That's pretty helpful, right? And you can see like how the forms get narrower. Like the narrower you get, the more ass-like it does appear. So that was one thing. Another thing is the more rounder shapes. That's not to say that they don't have like these sharper shapes, but if you notice some of the ends, they don't necessarily taper off. Like for example, this one here actually. This one is this specific example that I have right here. If you look at how the two lines join together, they seem to come into each other instead of having them going in parallel and slowly taper off, like what we see up here. What does taper mean? Taper means to get narrower, right? This is tapering. To go from a wide width down to a narrow width and then essentially taper off, which means to just come to an end like that. That's what tapering is. For the most part, it's a lot. You hear it pretty often when talking about pants and t-shirts and stuff. Anytime there is like a leg, right? If you just wear it, could be really loose. So you might want to taper the pants and then you kind of make it narrow down, right? That's how people get skinny jeans. They taper the ends up. But that's what tapering is. But Yeah, these round shapes I thought were really interesting because you can spot these pretty often. If you look for this shape, this specific shape, you will see it in almost every single piece that she has done, and in multiple areas. And actually, I'm saying that, but I can't quite find it in this one. But like, you know, just another option, right? So you don't always taper off like this, but you taper off in this sort of rounder, fatter. Even though I said that it was meant to be slender, right, in general, but then that's in cases like this, you get these shapes. And there's also a lot of these round forms. These are really hard to sort of help like say how to do it. I think this is completely by feel, because the moment you have shapes like these circles, these loops, they're very eye-catching, but as a result of them being eye-catching, you have to balance it really well. And I think that balance is just where her mastery comes in, and I cannot explain it because I cannot do it myself. So there's not much I can do about this one. What else do we have? We have so how to make the individual sections more interesting is what this is trying to say. So for example, how do you do detailing, right? So when you have long straight sections, so places where I would have normally just drawn long and straight hair, there is a lot of twisting. So if you look at this one here, actually I don't know if this is what she drawn or I just put this here as an example. I don't think this is her Ask's art, but this is Ask art. You can see how the outer layer peels away, right? And then another layer comes out underneath, and then another layer comes out behind. Kind of like this, you have this constant twisting motion almost, where the outer layer disappears, and then the next under layer becomes outer layer, and then the next under layer becomes outer layer. Same thing here as well, but it's just a little bit more extreme, right, at the bottom here. And it's not necessarily very deterministic in the sense that, like, it's not necessarily, hey, if you draw it means there's one face that has to fade away, another face that has to come out. It just kind of seems like, as long as it looks interesting, when you go on and do the shading and the coloring and rendering and whatnot, you can then decide that, hey, maybe you want to group shapes together now, right? Remember we're talking about grouping shapes? I think that's why it's kind of like this, where, like, even though this part here, this area here seems to be like the outer side, you still have like a giant block of shadow here for some reason. And I think it's just because she wanted to group the shadow shapes together and maybe make this part not that bright, right? And maybe keep the focal point on that side. I don't know. So no, I don't know what this is. Let me just go on to something that's a little bit quieter. And then let me see. This volume is probably fine, right? Outline brush with sharp end or just the line art? Outline brush with a sharp end. I think this is just a... So considering the quality of this specific piece, I would think that this is probably just her sketch, actually. This is probably just the sketch, but colored over. Because the lines are very, very messy in certain areas. And it's not as refined as, you know, we see in the other ones here. So I can only imagine that it's just a quick sketch. The colors are also a lot simpler. So it's probably just her brush. Whatever that she's using is probably a pretty opaque brush that has tapering, but not necessarily that much. I'm not sure. Like the attack, I don't know if what's the calling, like what to call this, but the tapering of the setting of this brush width is probably very extreme, like this perhaps, because it seems to taper off really quickly instead of gradually over a long period of time, like a long distance here. So if you turn this over here, the ends get sharper. You guys can see the other stuff, but that's just a guess. I'm not 100% sure. This says not just a single straight line, but you can just ignore this, because if you're breaking the long straight sections, again, we're talking about detailing of hair, right? If you're really breaking it up, you're naturally going to get a lot of different sections here, and you're naturally going to not have a single straight line. So this is not really that important. Layering, right? Overlaying, so you have a lot of different layers of the hair. Even in this one here of the yellow one, right? You can see how there's stuff being brought over. And actually, I don't really like the balance here, because you get really thin strands and then expanding into kind of really thick, really big chunks here. And it feels a little weird, right? Because you can see the back through there. So it seems to suggest that this area is completely empty, but then it comes out. But then at the end of the day, it still looks really good, right? So if anything, it's just like, you know, don't worry about it too much, I guess, right? Draw the hair in the most smooth and flowy sort of lines that you can. Try to make the line art itself interesting. And then when the rendering comes, just try to group stuff together and not make things too crazy. But then you can put a lot of extra strands, you can put a lot of overlaying bundles of hair. So this is nothing necessarily to do with Ask, but the idea of adding extra strands, right? You can add the strand that goes in the same direction of the group that is overlaying, right? They're all kind of going to the left here. Or you can make it go in the opposite direction, like this one is going to the right. And of course, the more you go in the opposite direction, the more contrast there is. But it might also make the hair look very messy, right? Very unkempt, right? If your character has just very messy hair, I guess that's fine. But otherwise, maybe keep it in the same way. And then in terms of what to do for overlaying, you can overshoot and undershoot the actual curve. So if you imagine this big bundle in the middle being the main bundle, you have stuff that branches off a little bit earlier, right? So it's undershooting this curve, and some that overshoots it, that goes outside of the thing. I don't think I really want to use any of this in like my current one. Not 100% sure though. I prefer to group the shapes more, I think. If anything, I think I'm probably targeting more of this kind of shape, where you have really long and slender strands like this along the edges. I think that's probably what I'll go for along the sides. And then in the back here, there's the back is a problem. Like the way that the hair ends, I've never really figured out what's a good way to make it look good. But and then a lot of these ass pieces, you don't really see most of the hair actually. A lot of it is blocked up still. We don't get like a full back view. And then whenever we see a lot more hair, it's always very dynamic, like this. And it doesn't really help too much, I think, in our case. But anyways, as we go on here, having gaps in your bundles. So like in the previous case, we have a really big gap that I thought makes the balance would look weird. But then you're just opening up holes, right? You can open up holes here and there, open up holes. This is Rella, I'm pretty sure. So the red lines and the blue lines is trying to separate the outer side of the hair and the inner side of the hair. So this would be the inner side and this would be the outer side. And starting with something like this, right? I'm trying to simplify whatever that they have here, Rella has here. And then if you simplify it, and then try to figure out how they make it complicated, you can kind of maybe see that, hey, take this outer area, you cut it in half, right? One goes underneath, one goes over top, right? That's how you get this over top part and the underneath part. And then so on and so forth. You can add more stuff, so on and so forth. I don't know, like, it's easy to be like, hey, like you look at one piece of art that the people have done that you really like and be like, oh, this is how they do it. But then when you come and do it yourself, there are so many things that are in play, right? You have all these balancing issues where how big should one bundle of hair be versus the other bundle versus the gap, right? All of these things start to become a problem, and it's really hard to make it look as elegant as you see in the reference, even if you break it down like this. So if you guys are attempting this, you have to maybe set expectations accordingly. And then there's just like very ass-like gaps, like these. Actually, not that one so much. Like something like this. This shape is very weird, like to me, because this shape here is like what? Like there's like a bundle of hair here, I guess. But then I guess then there is a bundle that goes from bottom up, right? And then there's one that goes over top. But what's causing this curve here necessarily, right? So this is why I'm saying like some of these really round shapes that Ask has is very hard to mimic, because that balance, that sense, that artistic sense that they have to balance everything is it's really hard to mimic. Yeah, so I don't know what that is about. Different directions, sure. Actually, honestly, if you think about all of these things if you take a step back and think about any of this, it's just contrast again, right? It's all just contrast again. Whenever you're expecting straight things, you can make it twisty and turny and then go in opposite directions to make it more visually interesting. Again, it's still just contrast. So if you just think of it from that point of view, I guess you can always come up with these ideas again. You don't have to follow what's in here or like try to find someone's stuff and just follow. This says translucency, by the way. It's not very written very well, but there's some peeking from behind this stuff. But wait, actually that individual, is this who I think it is? Is this the same Pari as the one that designed I think made one of the Hololive designs, and also is currently making a whole bunch of VR chat avatars, including some of the really famous ones? This might be the same person, because that's probably the same person. They did Hololive CN design, they did Nijisanji Arusu Maru. This individual, you can find them in VR chat. I technically have them in the friends list because they accept anyone. They accept any friend request, but they don't ever talk, so that's kind of funny. You know, like this art that I'm drawing, this guy, the guy who made this avatar, he is kind of friends with this guy. They have communicated before, but more of just like a business kind of thing. But it's yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like the VR chat world that you go in, you can meet a lot of these big guys. They're just sitting there and working and doing their own thing. And if you follow them and you like, if you become friends with them or something and you sit around with them, you get to see their work ethic. They're just constantly working. Everyone is constantly working and locked in. And then when they get tired, they kind of talk to each other for a bit, and then they will go back straight into work. But yeah, this individual is one of the most successful individuals in the server, I'm pretty sure, because like, you know, Hololive Nijisanji going on to making bestsellers for avatars. All of these names are all very famous VR chat avatar names. So, but anyways, so this book, this is probably pretty old, right? Like I think. Oh, but I'm not sure if actually they changed their rendering style, because I do see like they tend to be a lot more Blender oriented, like modeling now. The problem will be language barrier. Yeah, that is true. Yeah, that is true. And there's an additional issue with this individual is that because they don't speak, you need to be able to read. The best you can get out of them is just text. And obviously it's gonna be full Japanese text. No one's gonna give you like furigana with the hiragana and katakana underneath. So oh, is it a she? I don't know. But yeah. So I think, thank you for sharing, by the way, Circle. Anyways, with all that being said, I am just going to try and make the ends a little bit more refined. I want to keep it simple. Too many of these things it's just too complicated, and after trying and failing so many times, I've just come to terms with me not being able to do it. PDF of it, huh? I don't know if I'm necessarily that interested, but I thank you for offering. I have an idea of maybe where to find it if I really do want to, but if I do, I'll let you know. Yeah, thank you again. Can you make into Word doc? Yeah, let me go target some of these edges, and then oh, should I attempt to do shapes like that? I think it's really hard because it doesn't merge back in. They're all gonna taper off into their own ends like that, so it's gonna be kind of hard. Am I undoing? What am I undoing right now? Oh, there you go. Anyways, I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna go to the washroom and be right back. Yeah, Mika Picasso is oh man. I don't know where to start. I did one study of Mika Picasso in a while back, but it's not really worth sharing. I mean, I can share it, like, I can show you guys, but it's not very helpful because where did I put it actually? Didn't I have a folder here called notes? Oh, did I offload it off my computer because I thought it was completely useless? The thing about the study videos, right, is that at least for some of the, like the ass ones, right, I can at least break it down to layers for people who cannot see the layers. But if you have any, like you don't need that much experience to start seeing things in layers, is the thing. But for makeup, like, and in those studies, right, it's not really necessarily a study because I'm not trying to break down any of the concepts or the lightings or the colors or the shapes, right? I'm not even aware of those things back then. Everything about all these shapes and ideas I've learned in the past 10 months, right? But then Mika Picasso is just an entirely different realm, because at least Ask I can try to explain. Mika Picasso, I just have no idea. Like, a lot of it is just, I feel like they just vibe, and it looks good. Okay, I cannot find this thing. I need a quick second here. I think you guys might be interested. I made some notes of like old studies and stuff, but I forgot where I kept it, because I am pretty sure I might have offloaded it to my external hard disk, which I can no longer find. Where the hell did I put it? God damn it. I don't know if you guys can hear the sound. I hope not. But yeah. Let's just say my place is not the most organized. Okay, 1 second here. God damn it. Where the hell? Okay. I have it. Oh, I think I have it anyways. I'm actually gonna have to dig through another drive now. Ah, here we go. Okay, let's see. So my backup folder here should have a folder called notes. It does not have a folder called notes. Okay, shit. Damn it. Swear to God. Oh no! It's here. Okay, it's here. Okay, let me just. Okay, you know what? Those, I don't think you guys care about that one. So let me just open this. Unsupported file format. Which one, dude? They're all JPEGs, dude. What do you mean? So I did a bunch of studies in the past. This is pretty old, I think. This is like way before. Yeah, this is 20. Oh wow. Okay, so it's modified 2021, but it says it's created 2022. I don't know what that means, but I'm willing to take the earlier date because these are moved into my hard disk, so it might have been created on the disk in 2022 or something. But sorry, where's the Mika Picasso one? Mika Picasso 1. Oh, that's the one that failed to open. Why? What do you mean unsupported file format? It's just a JPEG. Yeah, actually, you know what? This one is especially unhelpful. I think at least the other ones I try to break down. But the one thing I learned from doing this one, this is not traced, by the way. The line art isn't traced, I think. But the thing I learned from this is that there's no real rhyme or reason, at least back then when I did it, as to how the colors are put in. It really just seems to be go as colorful as possible. And then and as far as my notes goes, it says that it took me 5+ hours, right? And then it says for the eyes, just look at it and do it. Oh shit, oops. I'll share the other stuff in a bit, but and then the skin, it was a lot easier than expected because there's not much in the skin, at least for this one here. And in some of her more recent ones, as you can imagine, the power creep, man, is insane. Some of the more recent ones get more and more crazier. That's bad grammar, by the way. It's more and more crazy. I think you don't double up the, but anyways, so and I broke down the layers here. So for example, I have the base color, right? I have the first shadow. So it has a bit of a brighter shadow color with a bit of blurring. So I'm assuming it's talking about the edges are softened in some of these areas. And then the second shadow layer is just slightly darker. The highlight is red plus white. I'm not sure where the red is. I'm assuming it's the Terminator. I might be talking about Terminators. I don't think the idea of subsurface scattering actually existed in my head back then, so... yeah, and then the second shadow color adjustment, which is just a general gradient being applied on. So the clothing I didn't manage to break down, so I couldn't really see what's happening. Again, back then, like the understanding is really poor. Like I wasn't aware of stuff like reflected light, I wasn't aware of shapes, I wasn't aware of grouping shapes or like how to make interesting shapes and like all those things. None of that existed in my head. I was just copy and pasting, 100% copy and pasting. And then for the hair, right, like it's just the base color, a shadow. And then I'm saying that just one layer for the shadow, so one color and one layer for the shadow is probably enough. But I split it between the front and the back hair. So the front hair being just the ones above the skin and the back hair being the ones in the back, behind the rest of the body here. And then as for the color, I just used as many layers as necessary. So I probably use one layer per color. So I use selection tools to put in. So primarily, I believe this was the shadows only applied to the the colors only applied to the shadow. So you just kind of select the shadow, airbrush it in, and then maybe clear and then fix some of the shapes. But that's it. The problem with this, why I don't think it was a good study, is because I didn't learn anything. Like I learned that I couldn't do this. That's what I learned. I suppose that is something, but yeah, like and this is one of her easy, like simplest pieces. This is absolutely one of the simplest ones. I've actually attempted to break down her stuff a few more times later on, and I actually found one of the old files. Just I lost it again. Did I lose it again? Oh, shit. I'm so organized, guys. I don't know where it is, but I thought I found it just now. Was it here? 3? No, this is way too recent. Oh, it was pretty recent. Okay. Okay, this is not the study, right? This is not the study. But what I'm doing is, you can see I'm trying to break out the shapes. So the problem with this is that there is, how do I say this? Like you see a lot of colors in there, right? But just like how when you're usually drawing as well, there is a lot of ways to achieve the same effect, right? You can use a multiply layers, excuse me, to get the shadows in, or you can just put the colors in. So because I've seen one of her videos, like one of her video interviews or something, I've noticed that she does some really crazy stuff. Like she would take the current work in progress, right? Compress all the layers to one layer, and then put it back into the work in progress itself with a bunch of weird layer effects and weird adjustments and weird liquefying shapes and stuff, in order to add even more interest. So yeah, it's just too much. It's just too much, because if you have like a really good base for art, I think you can how should I say this? If you are so I was a beginner, much more of a beginner back then, especially when it comes to colors and rendering back then, right? So I didn't have a good structure in my head. But then nowadays, now that we have this structure here, sorry, not this one. Give me 1 second here. So this is my notes folder here. Now that we have this structure here, I think if how do I say this? If I just draw the same thing with my structure in place, get all the fundamental stuff in, right? For example, the most important things like certain shadows and certain form shadows and other ambient occlusion, some of those things in already, then I compare with the original. I think then we can maybe sort of see where the liberty is being taken, right? Because just a glance like at this, it's just kind of crazy. It's just crazy. But then if, let's say for the flower, for example, if you already know how to draw the flower by itself, just let's say just red and just a shadow color, right? If you already have that, then it's a lot easier to start being like, oh, all these other things are embellishments, right? They're not part of what you will usually do, right? It's part of the style, and that's where you can sort of have a foot in the door basically, right? Like for example, in this case, let's say I just use red and some darker version of red, maybe some kind of purple for the shadow. If that's it, then we will just have all these bright areas and just the shadow part there. We will have none of the yellows, none of the oranges, none of this gray, none of the weird stuff, perhaps. None of the textures as well. And then from then on, we can then perhaps consider, oh, you know, if we want more colors, maybe we can consider a yellow light source, right? And then we can put that in here. And then if the yellow light source is there, what if we can create some more shapes? And then maybe the oranges start going in. And then if the yellow light source, let's make it even more vibrant. Let's use something even more crazy. And then you can, you know, slowly start to build up the idea. I think that's how potentially one might be able to do like an actual study and figure out what the style is about. Because otherwise it's what am I looking at, you know, like okay, some of these areas is obviously just going to be yeah, you're just gonna have the vibe, right? If you don't vibe the same way, you're not gonna get the same thing. Some of these areas, like there's no way I can really explain why there are so many shapes in here. But some of these other things, perhaps. And then once you have a foot in the door and you start to sort of get in the head of because those sort of vibes, you might then be able to come over here and be like, oh, that's why maybe some of these decision choices decisions were made. I think that's probably how it would happen if we eventually get that far. But as it stands, this is kind of crazy. Watercolor I could use for the study. Are you talking about like this one, right? I'm pretty sure I would have used the lasso for any of the big shapes and hard edges, right? Maybe like a G-pen to fix some of the hair's thinner regions. There would be airbrushes for the colors. And then, so for the clothing part likely will be this one brush called the Smooth Watercolor. And this brush, I've come to notice that it's actually not in the newer version of Clip Studio. I'm not sure why. But if you go to this watercolor, sorry, let me remove my reference board here. Sorry, where is it? It's blocking the thing for you guys. Let me just get rid of that. Right. So over here, it looks like it's just called brush, the brush thing. You go to watercolor tab, and then there's this thing called a smooth watercolor. And I wouldn't suggest using this. Just because this is very hard to use, if I'm being honest. Like the way I've set it up is that so that you can have like mixing like this, but then for the most part I kind of use it like I have to press really hard to get the colors in there. And it's kind of interesting, but you can kind of also see like there's some weirdness going on with the edges, which you may or may not like. I suppose it's personal preference. There's like edges here, but then there's like soft here, and like, so it might be a little bit hard to control, potentially. And this brush, this watercolor, smooth watercolor, again, under the brush tool, watercolor tab, smooth watercolor is the name of the brush. This brush I didn't find the latest version of Clip Studio, because I had to buy another version when I went to Japan, and I couldn't find it in there. So I actually had to move it over, I think. I forgot where the file is now. But I can always like export this again, I think. Yeah. You can always export it. I think I have it here somewhere. Oh, probably not actually. Maybe it's a different folder. But anyways, if you want to study this file here, I don't mind sending it in the server. It's not as useful as you might think though, because it literally is, I'm just being a printer. I literally trace the original. So I would just, for example, focus on just one of these layers. Right, I will focus on one. Okay, yes, it looks like crap, but let me just block it up. I'll do this. I'll put the original below, like this, and I will just trace it. Oh, the other one? This one? Oh, the file? Oh, okay. I don't know where the file is though. I can try looking for it. I should have it. But I have like hundreds of files, and I like to name files like this, right? I like to name them as in like practice blah 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 blah. You see what I'm doing here with the files here as well. I name it Paint 7. So I didn't quite name it Makeup Picasso, I think. So it might be kind of hard to find. Like I literally have hundreds of these of like illustration 1, 2, 3, 4. If I find it, I'll share it, but it's very unlikely that I can find this There's just too many things here. And this is just one of the bunch of folders here, but so it's a very unlikely, I would imagine. And then that's it for the Makeup Picasso one, right? And then I have some of the other ones. These ones I can also just send in the server because these are like these were notes that I made for myself back then, which I've never used, by the way. So I don't actually know if it's that useful. But yeah, I'm just gonna dump these in the Discord right now actually because I have them available. Let me see. So if you go to the stream dump server, it's just gonna be there if you guys want. I just try to, okay, again, right, like my understanding of shapes and then colors and everything didn't exist. So my only goal whenever I do a study was just, can I break it into all the different layers? That's it. So the only thing this really shows is a potential set of layering setup. And honestly, the value that provides is, I always thought that there's not much value because it should be, yeah, anyways, like, but like the videos prove otherwise, right? Especially the ask videos. So it is what it is. But yeah, basically it just looks like this, right? As I slowly put in each new shape here, they're just broken down like this. Until eventually you reach the final thing. Is this useful information? Yeah, it's got buildings as well. Don't mind the text. So this is my attempt on the left, and this is the original on the right. And you know, this is why like the observation skills are so important, right? I didn't notice back then that hey, the stripes, the vertical stripes that's going through, they're a lot thicker than like whatever shit that I was having here. So this looks really bad. That's why I'm saying that there's not enough definition, but really it's just yeah, I'm just kind of screwing up some of these balancing and stuff like that. You guys can probably take your time to try and decipher this if you want. Oh, this is talking about the steps, I think. So, yeah, the steps of creation. Again, you know, how the layering might potentially work and what kind of effects are on this. Yeah. There's no real tricks to this though, honestly. It's not like you read this and all of a sudden you can draw better. Painting is still painting. The only thing this really does is to just help myself make it a little bit more manageable, because otherwise, again, painting for me is very scary. Everything is on one layer. Imagine if you screw up the gradients, right? Like now what? You have to re-gradient the whole thing. That's crazy. So I just broke it down so that I don't get so afraid of it. But at the end of the day, like if you can't paint, like if I don't bother spending the time to refine these shapes and make them equal size rectangles and squares, it's still gonna look just as bad. It's not gonna make any difference. So there's no secret hidden in here, is what I'm trying to say. But by all means, for sure, if you take a look at it if you would like. Yeah, I think that's kind of all the stuff that I did make back then. I did a lot of studies, especially on Twitch, but I don't think no, I have those files, but I don't know where they are. I must have those files, right? Oh man, dude, it's absolutely insane. I guess I did draw a lot of stuff over the years. They're just not very good stuff and never posted them, but I do have a lot of junk. Where are the even older photos? Am I looking at the right folder? Yeah, it is, right? Anyways, I don't think there's anything else that's interesting. If I find anything else, maybe I can share again. But then why are these folders empty though? None of these folders are empty. I thought this was the place I backed up all my data, but apparently I think I ran out of spaces sometime and I just had to start purging my backup data. Yeah, looking at some of these old stuff, and there's some stuff that I really tried, man. I tried, and then I just got like really discouraged. So this one I tried to color, right? Obviously back then I wasn't aware of you know, how clashy the colors might be. If you all everything is like super saturated, like something here needs to be gray, and like not like this gray. It needs to be actually gray. These are still pretty saturated if you look at the bottom color wheel. And then like there are like too many shades, you know, I'm just spamming textures. Oh my god, dude. We've come a pretty long way, I think. Look at the faces I've drawn back then, dude. Too bad I didn't get famous like the free roam one. Very sad. When was this actually? This was let me see. Oof, this was September 2020. So this would have been a full 5 or 6 months after I really started to want to draw, I think. So every day I would just, you can see like the dates here, right? September. So I would just be training out a bunch of random shit every day, non-stop. And sometimes I would be a little bit more ambitious and try something. Man, I actually do not remember drawing any of this. Why is this empty? Like, what the hell is this, dude? Like, what is this? Yeah, oh my god, like the number of stupid broken ass heads and faces that I've drawn in the beginning is crazy, dude. Oh, I actually think didn't I color this? There were so many pieces that I wanted to color, and then eventually I didn't because I came back to it the next day and I'm like, this sucks. This sucks. Why would I paint this? Like, why would I spend even more time in this? And then it would just never happen. There are also ones like yeah, but I mean this one is very sus. But anyways, this one is posted. This one is posted. This one's completed and posted. Man, I know what characters I was trying to draw. I don't know if you guys can recognize them, but I don't blame you if you don't. Something happened here, and actually I'm looking at this. It doesn't look half bad, dude. It really doesn't look half bad, dude. It's just like the oh my god, dude. Like honestly, all I needed was someone to tell me that, hey, you should maybe consider balancing some of the details, and then I would have been, oh, you know, like that's why it looks kind of like messy everywhere, because I have too many small shapes. Yeah. Anyways, we can go through these some other time, I suppose. I don't know why I've done it. Yeah, like what is this? Oh, yeah, this is a study, I think. Actually, I know exactly what piece I was trying to go for. Oh shit, I know exactly which one. I can even find it right now, I'm pretty sure. What's the character's name? Swire? I think it was Arknight Swire. And then it's like a background piece. Is it Swire or was it some other character? Shit. It wasn't Amiya, was it? Maybe I should just nuke the okay. Anyways, I'm pretty sure we'll run into this this piece, the one that I referenced at some point. But anyways, let's check. Yeah, here. Anyways, we're back to this. What was I doing? Oh yeah, I want to clean up the hair. Got very distracted. Yeah, I really tried. I'm looking at all these old things. I really tried a lot of random stupid shit. The number of stuff that I left undone was a lot, man. There's so many things that were left undone, I think. I don't even know if I can execute this thing even now. I was gonna put like a giant wolf head in the back, like a huge one, like you just see the eyes and then maybe very faintly. I think now maybe at least we can get anatomy a little bit more correct, but painting wise, like what am I gonna do with the background, right? There's so much space here, dude. How do you make it interesting? And then the original planning, I think. Yeah, the original planning. My god, my hair, man. Oh my god, dude. What the fuck is this hair, dude? I would love to compile like every single thing into one video and just have like a huge, like really fast time lapse. Like kind of like the, I guess it's not, it cannot be that fast or people get nauseous or something. But like one of those things where people take photos of themselves for like 20 years and then see themselves age kind of thing. That'd be kind of cool, you know. Take all these wonky ass faces, like maybe find all the ones with the same angles or something, and then see how I change the way I draw the same angle for the same face over the years. That might also be interesting, I think. But the amount of time it would take to sort of organize everything, man, it's kind of crazy. It's gonna be like 100 hours at least. What was I doing? Oh yes, I need ask. Sorry, this is not the thing I need. Just nuke this real quick. Bye bye. Why did my folder go? I closed it. Big brain, dude. No, I actually have it open, didn't I? Oh yeah, I do have it open. So you guys might not see what I'm referencing, I think. But I just have this open on the other board. Or should I close this actually? I can close this for now. Oh. Let me just check the... Yeah, the original really curves in, man. They really... Oh, what the... What was that? Some very dirty greens and grays and yellows. Yeah, do I want to curve it in this much? It could be an opportunity to create more of these really thin and slender and really, what I like to think, elegant lines, but then not necessarily the shapes though. I feel like the shapes kind of make her look like a gourd or something, like a huge gourd. But it is the original design, so maybe we just keep it consistent here. Yeah, I still have a lot of sketches, like physical sketches. Where are the sketches? Oh no, it's in my it's in my room somewhere else. It's pretty thick too. It's like 10-15 centimeters worth of paper, like a stack of paper with a bunch of big ass A3 size sketchbooks and stuff. A lot of those are just what I now come to know as studies. Where's the cringe? Oh man, George. The cringe is right before you. Right now, the cringe is speaking. About studying from other artists. Yeah, I'm glad that it inspired you. I'm just not really sure what to think of it because I don't necessarily feel one way or the other. I just know that you have to keep drawing. And I suppose if you don't study, it's going to be super hard to get better, right? Because you're always just in your own... Oh, I don't want to say the word filth, but you're just kind of in your own sort of circle, right? You never learn new things. I was actually... oh yeah, today at work I spent like 15 minutes trying to write out a very clear idea of what an art style is, right? And what the development of an art style is supposed to be like, and how to get better at art from my point of view. And I wanted to structure it as clear as possible so that, you know, for example, what is art, right? Art is answering a bunch of questions. What colors to use, what characters to draw, what pose, right? What kind of shapes, what kind of design language, all of these questions, even if you're, whether if you're aware or not aware, and regardless of the thing that you're actually drawing, right? Whether if it's a sketch, if it's a background, if it's a colored piece, you have to answer every single one of these questions. It's just that some of these questions, the answer to them might just be, I'm not doing it, right? But you have to answer it. And a style would just be a preference for a specific way of answering these questions. So then it comes down to how do you get your own style, right? How do you find a preference for doing anything? You keep doing it until you find it. But then there's also this issue where if you're drawing, right, everyone can relate. You draw something today, looks good, comes back tomorrow, it looks bad. There's this sort of gray zone where you hit your technical limit. And that is the problem, I think. In the beginning, like your technical limit is so low and your expectations are so high that every time you try to do an evaluation, you just completely collapse. You get overwhelmed. You'll be like, yeah, you know what? Like to develop my style, I should just fix the things that bothers me the most now, but everything bothers me like crazy amount, right? And stuff like that. And then that's where the studies come in, right? How do you target each individual question for art? And how do you tailor your study to target each one? and then so on and so forth. There's like a whole series of a train of thought. Because like if I can phrase it in a very clear and concise way, then it can serve as a very strong framework to think about art, I think. Because that was what I lacked. I just keep thinking about it in the wrong way, and it made things very difficult. So I wanted to make a video that my old self would be really happy and be really glad to find, which is what this channel was about in the first place, right? Stuff that my old self would have wanted to have seen, to be able to have on hand and stuff like that. But yeah, that's still in the works, I think. I don't know when I even have time to make videos, but hopefully soon. Literally like 99.99% of people that subscribed are not here for the streams. So somehow. Hello Uni. Often study all things at once and put into work. I'll go for study all things at once and put it. I see. Honestly, yeah, it's fine as well. I still think that whatever keeps you drawing is the right way. It is the right answer to the question of how do you move forwards. Keep drawing and keep referencing good artists and artists that you like. Keep trying to understand. You might not necessarily understand, but if you keep trying, you might find your own answers, right? And some of the questions that you arrive at that you couldn't answer, you might be more aware of the things that you can ask someone else for advice or something. So whatever that keeps you like drawing, I think is 100% correct. May not be super efficient, I suppose, but neither is not doing anything. I don't have anything to reference for the most part. Oh, what about this guy? Do I want to keep it like this round though? I actually don't like this shape, but it is what it is, isn't it? The design is not up to me, right? Like, I should stay truthful to the design. It seems like an entire new area of discussion. How much artistic liberty should I take? Well, if you're studying, you definitely should be just like super targeted. Like, be super aware of what is it that you want out of each time you start doing something. Because there's so many things you can learn from every single piece. I always feel that if you're not that targeted, you get too distracted. Well, I get too distracted. Yes, Uni. Indeed, it is. Yeah, for the most part, I just want to keep it truthful to the original design that the guy has, just because if this art is going to be the first thing that people see, I do kind of want it to stick to the original. I never really liked the whiplash sometimes, that it's like you expect one thing and it's too different. But yeah, it's like it's not that serious. It's not that serious, you know. But I guess if they want me to draw it, I guess I'll make the most me decision, which is to just keep it truthful to the original. So I would just do just that, I suppose. The only thing I really want to make myself to try and achieve is just make the shapes look good somehow. Make it look more elegant like ass. Because I don't like my own stuff. At least I'm not that confident in it just yet. I actually am completely fine with that with my own characters, but I just don't find it right to... It feels very experimental, you know? It almost feels like I'm experimenting with other people's stuff. Which I don't quite like. If I'm providing something, I want it to be consistent, if possible. But then again, I'm not able to do that now anyways. Yeah, the fundamentals and stuff. Yeah, interesting. Because I'm like, fundamentals are there to make things look good, is what I think they're there for. because as a beginner, it's hard to get a feel for things, right? So if you have rules to keep yourself in check, then it becomes really good. It becomes really easy way to get things out in a with a decent quality or something like that. But then at some point, I guess you just have enough experience, or you have seen enough things, or you just have like a really strong personal preference for certain shapes or something, or stylizations. Then I guess that's when you can just like kind of ignore certain things. So I guess, yeah, I guess I would know if that is the case, right? Because then I will feel strongly about it enough to ignore the rules anyways. So I guess there's no need to think about it too much. Experimenting, huh? Experimenting. Did I just rant for 50 minutes? I thought I started the video when I started talking. It's 48 minutes right now. Hello, Ibukize. Also, hello, Uni. Did I greet you, Uni? Kind of forgot. Full illustrations. Oh, I did. Man. I don't know, like, okay. Yeah, like, I've been having some memory issues. I'm not sure. Like, some of these things I just keep forgetting. Like, things that you always do, right? Like, I think that's normal to forget as well. Yeah. Huh. Hope it's not carbon monoxide poisoning. I don't think it is, because my fire alarm has carbon monoxide, but I remember all those horror stories on Reddit where it's like, oh, I've recently started noticing that my furniture has been moved without me knowing. And then the people are like, have you checked for carbon monoxide poisoning? You might have done it and just forgotten. And then they checked and then they realized that there was actually carbon monoxide in their environment. It's like, oh shit, dude, what? Oh damn, Ibukize, you are very, very serious. Damn, you are going all out, man. Well, that's great, I guess. I don't remember who you're drawing for, but that's great. The dedication to quality. Have I drawn mills before? I haven't. I have technically, yes. I can show you guys actually, since we have my external hard disconnected over here. I can actually show you guys. So this was back in, let me see, August 2020. This is August 2020. I don't know if it really counts necessarily. It's not like it's any different from. It's not really that different from what everything else I drawn back then, is the thing. What's the difference? I have two of them. Oh, this is the cleaner version. Ah, okay. Oh man, I don't remember drawing hair like this. Oh man, I drew hair like this, dude. This is my Maple Story friend, actually. Oh yeah, I really liked the metal back then. I have to be honest. My materials rendering didn't really change so much. I think this is still the best I can do now. The only thing I might change is add a few more scratches. But it's not always applicable, right? Because you might want the metal to look good, so... oof. And of course the clothing. Man, I swear like this shape I've seen like in like a piece that I did like just a year ago or something. Yeah, okay, this is definitely a reference from a photo. Yeah, all I could do was copy shapes. Yeah, actually now, yeah, only recently, man, I'm starting to really understand what it means to use reference for this. You can't just copy the shapes. It's gonna look too weird because the balance between the details here and here is gonna be off, right? Stylized versus a little bit less stylized. It's gonna be always gonna clash a little bit. But that is the only mill I have ever... Okay, that's not true. honestly no difference, dude. Like, what is the difference here? Um, what is the difference here? This guy is actually in our chat like once in a while. Like, I don't know, maybe he's here right now. And of course, these are our studies. The only thing I did really is to try to get the face by myself and try to fit it into the entire thing. So whether if it fits or not, I don't think it fits that much. With this proportion, probably the eyes would be slightly smaller. This might be the only recorded time that I've actually done this. Yeah, I think that's it. I can't think of another reason why I would have drawn males, so that's probably it. Did I do this on stream? No, no way, right? No way, no way. Oh. Damn, I'm so impressed by my by the fact that I was drawing back then without any like right now we're streaming, right? I have to be here and be in the moment and focus. But back then I had all the things, all the games that I could have played. And I guess I was just that desperate. Like, I guess if I wasn't desperate enough, I wouldn't even have started doing it, like art. So I must have been just really out of it, like, cause yeah, I cannot imagine. Like, nowadays all I want to do is just kind of like hop off stream and just relax and watch some videos. Back then it would have been like I have to hop off school and then like come back and do that instead of playing the games with my friends and stuff. Oh. Yeah, like recently I had a friend who's telling me that he's really fed up with life and he really wants to go out of the formula, right? Essentially, right? And he basically has experienced enough in real life and he has sort of bottled out enough emotions that at that moment, right, everything has sort of exploded. Everything has came out at once, and that feeling, that strong desire to do something was finally sort of strong enough to set him on the path to begin, right? Because a lot of times you kind of think about it, but yeah, you know, like my life, I could do something more, but I'm kind of tired today. Oh yeah, like I could have do that, I could have tried that, but I kind of don't want to. I want to watch games, you know, something like that. But he has had enough of those episodes, right, where essentially it's sort of bottled out and then just exploded, and kind of like what I had like back in 2020 March, right? But then the one very important thing that I noticed was that you have to not rely on the emotion. The emotion is very strong and powerful to get you started doing something, but humans are very good at adapting, right? That's why we are so intelligent, we are so successful on planet Earth, right? Because we can adapt to environments and stuff. And that includes a lot of these kind of emotions, whether if it's positive or negative. That strong emotion might be there for a week, might be there for 2 weeks. That's in my case, it was there for 2 weeks. But eventually it's gonna disappear. And you're gonna feel numb again. You're gonna feel just like you were before. Except this time, you kind of have a memory and a slightly stronger desire to try and do something else. But in all other aspects, you are kind of back to your old self. And that's why I realized that you have to not rely on that one outburst, but make use of that sort of buff, right, to your motivation at that point in time to set up an environment that can help you continue working towards your goals. So in that 2 weeks that when I was super motivated, I should have really thought about what is it that I want to achieve, right? Made a plan for it, and then set up an environment that helps me get there. Because if I did that then, I would be a way different person now. It took me 4 years to realize that I need to like really set up the environment, which is why I started the streams. And as a result of these streams, and you guys are the judge of, you guys are the witness to this, is that over the past 200, I've made a lot more progress than I ever did in my entire life combined. And that's because I have an environment here. There is a motivation for me to be here, right? To just work through my issues, as well as talk to you guys, right? As well as not to disappoint you guys by not being here, or like something like that, right? There is a very strong environmental factor that pushes me to keep going. I don't have to rely on the initial outbursts that I already forgotten what it felt like 4 or 5 years ago. But I still have a structure to keep me going. So I was telling him that that feeling right now that you have, hold on to it as long as you can. But it is going to go away. And before it goes away, you absolutely need to set up a system to make sure that you don't sink back into that your old self and then never wake up again, right? Because he basically just woke up from his current structure, from his existing sort of environment. And it's man, you know, people say to read books, you know, I always don't read books. I think maybe if I read some books about like self-help or like Atomic Habits, wasn't there one that's called Atomic Habits? I think these are probably some principles I would have shared in there, in those kind of self-help books that might have been helpful. But again, you know, like reading about something, knowing about something versus understanding and actually using it is also quite different. So it's hard to say, you know, like maybe I really just needed an outburst back in 4 or 5 years ago, and then maybe I needed the subsequent 4 years of not making enough progress to be desperate enough to finally put myself on the right path. So it's hard to say, you know, like going back to like being efficient with your choices and self-improvement, like you never know. It's always impossible to evaluate. So I still feel like, yeah, as long as you're working towards the goals, that is the most correct and efficient path that you can possibly take, right? Everything else is in hindsight. And you can then make use of that hindsight to adjust like future decision making, but like you cannot blame yourself for not seeing it back then, I think. Anyway, sorry, long rant, dumb rant again, but I see. Yeah, the inertia for not trying and not doing something is so strong sometimes. Sometimes I just kind of sit here, like I will get off stream and I'll just kind of sit here and not really do anything, and then time will just disappear all of a sudden, and then it'll be like 3 a.m. or something, and then I try to sleep, I can't sleep, and then by the time I fall asleep it's like 5, and I wake up at 8 and then I have a really bad day the next day and I wonder why. But I can't see what's happening here. What is happening? Should be interesting enough, right? It doesn't have to be. I mean, there's a limit to what I can do with my current skill anyways. So not expecting too much is also part of growing. I would have to imagine. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's not just 100%, right? It's not just the amount of time that you have that is lessening, but also the quality of that time, right? You have no responsibilities, you just need to get home and eat food, and then you're free to do whatever, right? Do homework and then do whatever. And then now I have to go to work, I have to plan for stuff, I have to plan for work, I have to plan for the commute, like deal with issues as they come up, bills here and there, random miscellaneous issues, like my sink had like a bunch of stuff being like spit out of the sink and it smelled like a sewer in my house for a bit because like they were cleaning the drains, and then water stopped working in my my building, my elevator breaks down, and then, like it's just a bunch of stupid shit. Back then, like your parents would take care of all of that, but then now you have to worry about that for yourself, right? So the quality of time goes down so much, especially because it's broken up so much now, right? Like you have to spend some time in commute and then spend some time at work, spend some time buying groceries, spend some time cooking. You can try to insert art here and there, but it's so hard to get good stuff out if it's not like a consistent, contiguous period of time. Like what we have right now, for example, like this 3 hours. But what can you do? Like as a kid, like I think it's really hard to appreciate that. It's so hard to appreciate things that you have, you always have, right? Like I also don't know if there's much that could have been done necessarily in that regard. Yeah, it reminds me of like feeling secure. I don't know how you guys what do you guys feel about being secure at home? How do you guys feel safe at home? Because if you think about it logically, what is the difference between home and outside, right? It's like literally one door. It's like one wooden door. There's nothing physically stopping people from kicking that door down. Well, other than the hinges of the door, I suppose. But like, You know, it's like if you're driving in a car on the road, there's nothing physically blocking someone else from just ramming their car into you other than their common sense. I suppose a gun, but you have to be aware, right? You still have to be active and aware that someone might be intruding. So what I'm saying is that, like, I think as a kid, back then at least, I could relax a lot better. I can be like, you know, I'm home now, my parents are here, there's someone in the house looking after me. I don't have to feel scared anymore. But then now I always feel like I have to be alert for myself. And I feel like going traveling, like traveling, man. Think about the number of things that can go wrong. You can lose your luggage, you can get mugged, right? Now, let's not talk about plane crashes because that's so statistically better. A better sense of community is true, right? Knowing people around. But communication is always two-way. And I think the current climate doesn't really seem to foster that well. You know, it depends too, right? It's not like I've tried, so it's not necessarily a fair assessment. It's not fair to my neighbors to say that they're unfriendly. But at the same time, I haven't seen them at all. I haven't really seen them at all in the past year and a half almost. So since I've came here. And then yeah, back to the traveling thing. My mom always say like she feels really safe when she's traveling outside with me or like my dad or someone else in the family. But then my counterpoint is that she's only feeling safe because someone else is doing the worrying for her, right? Like, and then for me, I feel like I'm always kind of on the worrying side. I've never really enjoyed just being in the moment outside for a really long time. I think it's just so hard to just be like, yeah, let me just maybe take a nap in the park or something, you know, just kind of enjoy being in the moment. I feel like I always have to look around. Hey, what's happening? What's happening? Definitely a little bit of paranoia going on there. Yeah, perhaps. I mean, it's not really necessarily manifesting in any sort of physical symptoms. At least I don't think so. I've been getting shortness of breath a lot more often recently, but I think it's mostly due to work, not due to things like this. It's not like I'm worrying about this constantly, but it's just that ever since becoming like an adult, I think stuff that used to be enjoyable is just, I just can't enjoy it anymore. It's just not possible to do so anymore because you're just so aware of things that can go wrong. And you can always wait until problem happens and then deal with it then. But then there are certain issues that you want to be prepared for too. And then, oh, I see. Yeah. It is the effect of the anxiety, but it's not the anxiety from worrying about getting, you know, mugged when I go outdoors or something. It's mostly just from work. Yeah. I don't normally just go around thinking about that, but like once in a while it does creep up. Oh, I did go to see a psychiatrist about those issues before, actually. Because the psychiatrist described it as a what-if kind of problem, right? You're always wondering about what if this happens, what if that happens. And then the suggestion that she gave was that for every single one of these what-ifs, you should write it down. Write down the what-if that you're considering, and then write down what you can do about it if it does happen. And at that point in time, I was pretty convinced that that seems like a good idea, right? Because then you're listing everything, you're putting it down on paper, and you're actively working to resolve each mental sort of block. But then I came back home and I'm like, what? But there are a lot of what ifs that you cannot do anything about, right? Right, like you cannot what if, like, I don't know, like an earthquake happens or something, I don't know, but like it's how do I say this? The what if method doesn't always work. And sometimes you just kind of have to distract yourself. I think most of the time, like nowadays, I'm just too busy to do the what if problem anymore. It very rarely happens. Very, very rarely. Why am I not drawing anymore? Am I lagging? Oh, my mouse disconnected. Okay, thank you. Nice. That was the only psychiatrist I ever seen in my entire life, I think. That one time. And it wasn't because I wanted to see her either. It was just a like a more holistic checkup plan that I signed up for. That came with it. And they're really good at making you feel like you're being listened to, but I'm also pretty sure from the way some of her body language and the way that she reacted and talked that she wasn't I mean, it is just a job for her, right? It's not like she's out there to really help you out from the bottom of her heart kind of thing. Maybe some people are, but I don't think she was. But in any case, I'm not blaming her for that either. It's just something I noticed. Yeah, I do feel like being prepared for the worst, thinking about all the worst case scenarios and being prepared for the worst isn't paranoia, but just responsibility, just being responsible for yourself, you know, like a good example would be like, for example, I'm on the West Coast, right? We're due for earthquake for like the past 50 years now, and it's a really big earthquake at that. And earthquakes are followed by tsunamis, you know? Is it paranoia to think about stuff like this? I don't think so. I think it's just responsible, being like responsible to yourself, to just have a bag ready to go, you know, like. And then consider what might happen after that. Like where would you possibly go, you know? Where would you get food and water, that kind of stuff. Yeah, there is a point where you can over prepare, so that balance. Again, we've come to the topic of balance, man. Life about balance is so hard, because that balance isn't one spot, right? It always changes with the situation. Why can't things be easy? Oh man, why can't I just draw anime girls in peace? Right, uni. Oh, is there a distinction? Wait, let me see. So preparing for the worst versus preparing for situations that could happen. But the situations that you're preparing for are just the worst situations that could happen, is it not? Jim Rohn 1981 seminar? Teaches about happiness. Ah, I see. Happiness. I think happiness for me is right now, I think. You know, being healthy enough and having enough free time to actually come here and having you guys to talk to. I think that is happiness. I think happiness is like the most normal, like the most mundane part of life is the happiness part, because it means nothing bad is going on. I suppose you can, like, there's always like more interesting stuff that can happen, but those are fleeting, and those are, I don't know, like if those are defined as happiness, I feel like it's really hard to be happy then, because it'll be so rare, you know. Development of yourself. Oh, interesting. Right, because that's what I'm doing too, right? That's a good point. Right, feeling like you're setting yourself up for a better future, right? You have hope, right? Hope. Oh man, when's the last time you used that word? Yeah, it is going to be impossible. 100%, 100%. But I feel like it's an obligation to prepare for things that you can think of, or that you have reasonably have enough time to think of. And of course, like, you know, where you draw that line can be hard to do. And I'm quickly trying to figure out like what's happening with my setup here, because I have a lot of lines that I kind of am okay with, but I don't know where they stand. What's happening here? Take it a few steps at a time. Yeah, don't worry guys, I'm not that overwhelmed. I'm not like going crazy or something, but like stuff like going to travel and stuff, yeah, I definitely would overthink a lot. But if I can exhaust everything that I can think of, then I can relax again. Then I can be like, you know what, like if any situation happens, we're reasonably enough prepared enough to handle most of it. So let's enjoy ourselves and just handle things as they come. You know, it comes out of nowhere, yeah, for sure. You cannot change the seasons, but you can change a different pair of underwear. Maybe you can wear 2 underwear. Be slightly warmer. Where are the legs? Okay, there they are. So I do believe that we have a little bit of like a white stuff peeking through. Okay, that's not really the best phrasing. A bit of white hair peeking through here. I'm just gonna confirm this real quick. If that is the case, then this is just fine here. Yeah, anyways, it'll be nice, like, you know, if I'm looking for like a significant other or someone like that, I think if like maybe like, you know, if I feel secure just being around them, that I don't have to worry as much, that would be a really good metric perhaps. But the implication is kind of like they worry more than I do. Because if they worry more than I do, I'm like, oh yeah, she must have considered that already. So I guess I don't have to think about that now anymore. So I can relax. It's like even worse. Oh my god, someone even more anxiety driven and more paranoid than me. Oh my god, dude. Would this be too messy? I do not know. I want to open this up a bit more. I feel like there's not enough area here. It's like a strand and strand, and then this. Yeah, it's like a fork or something. The grouping should be a little bit more, I think. Yeah, maybe a little bit more. Can I use a calligraphy? Koko ka? Koko da. Yes. Man, I can't wait till this is done so I can move on to something else. Yeah, I don't really want us to split, right? Doesn't it make it even worse? Yeah, not to mention that key is broken. だったらここしかないんだね。Where's the orientation? This way, right? Yeah, but not having any is also... This is gonna push... as a approach to life. Uh, yeah, I remember actually. Now that I think about it, it's just a lack of self-confidence. Because if you're confident in your own abilities, you wouldn't worry it as much, right? Because you have confidence that you can get out of bad places. I think. I remember. Yeah, this was a conclusion that I came across upon a while ago. Thought about it. Because Gojo has like Gojo has like no reason to worry about anything. He has all the skills and self-confidence required. I mean, I'm sure there's differences, right, in personality and stuff like that. But for me, like, if I want to stop worrying, I needed to justify it, right? Either I'm prepared or I know that I can deal with it as it comes out. I'm not gonna worry about like, what if they run out of chickens, like eggs at the supermarket? Because I can just buy something else, right? Like, so it's just where you draw the line, I suppose. Mm-hmm. Ooh la la. Ooh, I see, I see. Right. Actually, no, I'm reading that. Wait, hang on. This is being. You are parsing it, right? What was the original target? Doesn't matter too much. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be a gap there anyways, no matter what. Mm-hmm. And ergo, that would be the, Hello, Igami. Yeah, Ibukize. Basically, that is just your self-confidence, right? If you're confident in your adaptability and your skills and your ability to think on your feet and handle situations like that, then you will be less inclined to worry about them because you can handle them. I think. You know that you can handle them. Because adaptability is just one of your, I guess, your skills, I suppose, as a human. Yeah, how do we summarize this? This is, I like to worry about things. Right? And then what was it? How did we get here, actually? I forgot how we got here. Yeah, I like to worry as my hobby. Put it on my resume. You don't worry about it. Let me worry about it. Wasn't that like a thing? Wait, hang on. Wasn't that like a movie nonsense? Where it's like a guy trying to sell something, and then he was learning from his senior, and then the senior was like, "Yeah, don't like tell them about like when people worry about things, just tell them you don't worry about X and X. Let me worry about X and X for you." Or some stupid shit. Wasn't that like a movie? Damn, bro. Okay, I think I'll leave the... Okay, yeah, I don't know what to do with this. I don't have enough experience to know whether if this is too messy or like some of the shapes could have been grouped better or something. I kind of... This probably is too consistent. Can I do this number? But it also looks kind of weird for this to open up. Inclined to not do that. But I don't want it to be so consistent. So maybe I can... Easiest and fastest thing to do, reassess the situation, then rinse and repeat. Yes, Ibukize. I mean, like, I get what you're saying. And I think a part of it is, right, if you have the confidence and you've been through experiences like that, you know that you can reasonably perform well, then you don't have to worry about it. Because it's easy to say to do one thing, but in the heat of the moment, you don't know, right? And then from my point of view is that even if I know that I may be potentially, like I'm reasonably expected to be able to perform to that level in the heat of the moment under stress, under duress, if I can consider issues now and be extra prepared, why not, you know? Why not be more prepared? Because there's no harm in being more prepared. Then it lessens the load at that point in time and helps you make even better decisions. So that's why I like to think about like contingencies. Just, you know, like what happens if there's a fire right now? Like where are my pants, right? Where are my phone? Where's my phone? Where's my wallet? And you can reasonably expect yourself to still find those things, right? If you always put them in the right place, right? At that in the moment, but then in like a life or death, maybe you can save yourself with that few seconds there. Yeah. It is a time costing. It does depend, right? Whether if you are, because sometimes I would just sit on a bus and think about random shit. It's not like I'm doing anything else anyways, right? Like I said recently, I think with all the streams and work and stuff, I haven't really been thinking about stuff like that just because there's no time. It's not like it's consuming me. It's just that if I have like downtime, I just start to worry about random shit. Illusions? I think that's just speculation because I've been like this and I don't think I'm more on like the realistic end. Like, you know, like pessimism, optimism. I'm more like focusing on what I'm seeing right now. I sound very pessimistic a lot of times, I think. But I just see things for like what it is. At least I would like to think that, hey, I have this problem right now, I have to deal with it. And then so be it, you know, like I just have to deal with it. Art is an interesting place because it does feel like work, but there is a grander goal, right? And that is a personal goal. So it's not like work where you just work for money and your product or whatever it is that you're making doesn't really directly benefit you in any sort of way other than monetary value. Whereas art, at least like mentally, spiritually, whatever otherly, right, is a little bit more in that regard. So one could argue that it's not quite the same. Yeah, circle. That makes a lot of sense to me. So there's one of two things, right? Either I'm truly thinking about a lot of stuff and I am that person who's lost touch with reality, which I cannot tell, right? Because I'm the guy who is in that situation. So you guys can probably tell based on my responses and how I approach things. Or I am maybe just not really that worrisome as much as I thought I am. Which is also not 100% true, I guess, because I do have some issues in that regard. So where do I stand? I really do not know. I just know it's not crippling, right? It's not affecting me in a way that's crippling me. And I think that's all I can ask. I think maybe this is fine. I don't really know where I'm going with this. I'm just going back and forth and I don't seem to find anything necessarily more interesting. I'm imagining this area being white. And then, yeah, like there'll be some green bits here and there, and then the green will be there. If it sucks, I guess I can just redraw the lines later or something. Well, Uni, it depends on what you mean by issue, right? Because like from your point of view, you don't know how much I'm thinking. And from my point of view, I also don't know if I'm overthinking or not. Like where is that standard line being drawn that it becomes an issue versus being just maybe slightly more worrisome than the average person? I don't see it as whether if I've identified the issue or not. I'm just seeing that, hey, like, because the label of issue or not is not really that important. It's just whether if this sort of thinking part, worry part, quote unquote, is affecting me in my daily life. And I don't think it is. So I think that's the only part that's important. Because if it becomes an issue, then I have to do something about it. But in the meantime, I'm not like going around worrying about like world catching on fire. I'm worrying about like what happens at work. Just like, hey, what am I gonna do tomorrow? Oh, I should do this. Let me get this thing done. And let me report to so-and-so for this other issue, you know. I'm just thinking about stuff like that. And if that is still too much, then I'm not sure. Then I guess I have a issue. What should I do now, Ripley? Let me think. Did I just jump straight into the lines? But now I worry if I don't worry about it, then I probably should, because something bad will happen. More. Yeah, I don't get into loops like that. Most of the time, if I worry about something stupid, it's just, hey, what if this situation happens? What can I do about it? And then, okay, I guess that's it. Then let me go think about something else. I wouldn't get stuck in a loop. The loops I get stuck in is just mostly old regrets. Stuff that I wish I would have done better in the past. More so than stuff that may happen in the future. Those are the loops, man. Those are the true loops that happens at night. That I have an issue for sure. But that I'm dealing with mostly with YouTube videos and stuff, right? If I watch like gameplay videos, like recently I really like watching StarCraft 2. It's nice to see people think, right? It's a battle of wits, right? Who's trying what kind of build, and like, did they get scouted? You know, can I trick them? If they scout this, can I trick them this to do that and do this? And then I'll get lost in the, I guess, the mechanics of the game. And then I wouldn't worry about my own thing. Right, okay, let me envision this real quick. So, I don't know how the rendering is gonna go. In all likelihood, it would be closer to that. Wait, oh, I need my other reference board now. So the lines... Yeah, I want clean lines, so I'm trying to hold back the usual stuff that I do. You could say that that's probably not like necessarily that good, or not necessary, right? Because if they're asking me to draw, they're expecting me to draw it as comfortably as as fun as I would make it to be, I guess. But at the same time, I personally want to make it look clean. So then I'm trying to sort that out. Yeah, life as a game is it's a really hard strategy game because it's just so many variables, and it's always about positioning. Being in a position where you can get out if something happens, or move up if opportunity presents, like places where you have opportunity. Oh man, yeah, career, jobs and careers, those are entirely different, entirely different ball game. A lot of things to deal with if we start thinking about that. People who are jumping around different jobs and stuff. Right, okay, because my ping is going to be different. Okay, I see. So that is out. Okay. That is a good way to push that out. So, and then with regards to the other stuff, let me see, is slightly incompatible as a result of those things. I am going to run, what am I going to run then? Do I just go with ask then? It's not a bad idea, but I don't know if it's gonna be compatible with what I want to try on the other side. I mean, you're going for clean anyways, right? It's not like it's gonna be that different anyways. Okay, that's fine. Let me check one more thing here. Oh, I don't have it here. Do I not have it here? Where did I put it? Okay, let me just move it in here. Trying to imagine what the final render might look like. Kirio likes to say plan better, and I do agree. But as I also mentioned before, it's hard to plan if you don't have the experience. But now I think I have, I mean, at least over all these years, I have a little bit better idea if it's going to screw up or not. That's because of the times that I did screw up before. Where is the, this thing here? No, it's not even here. It's in the folder here. I could have sworn I moved this in already. Guess I did not. Yeah, the clothing will likely end up with shapes like this. I think the only thing bad about this was that it's just too single colored. I think the shapes are kind of fine by themselves, but maybe with more like midtones and like more slightly different colors, slightly different grays, it would have been a little bit more impressive. But as for right now, I think if I can get to this level with the rest of the clothing and everything, that would be fine. That would be just enough. And then the hair, I would like to do something a little bit better than this. More elegant shapes, more ass-like elegant shapes. None of these like taper to a single line kind of thing. Keep the shapes bigger in general. Okay. And then I'm going to what? What am I going to do with the lines? Should we push for that then? Let's push for consistent then. We can always add variations later. And it just make it a lot easier to control at this point. And it'll keep my worries at bay. Yeah, like art worries, man. Art worries is it's definitely an issue. Yeah, but we'll lose opportunities like that. But then again... Okay, whatever. Yo ho ho. Oh yeah, this is not gonna fly actually. Yeah, do in the beginning. It's fine. It looks kind of plain. I think it's still fine. Oh, but then again, okay, right, that's true. Alright, fine, let's push the other direction. Yeah, I am sorry. Like, it's these streams are kind of devolving into me just ranting at this point, I feel like. Maybe some of you can get something out of it, but I think for the most part, I should probably keep it. Actually, I don't know. Maybe streams can be a little bit more relaxed. The videos definitely, you know, like keep it art related, right? Very concise, targeted art pieces of like art knowledge nuggets. Maybe stream I can just rant about random stupid shit. Oh shit, Duvet, you're here. Look at you. Basu, I haven't really seen this name before. Haven't really seen this name. Look at that, Duvet, look at this. Look at that purple link. Oh no. Look at the purple link, Duvet. Oh, it's not followed. Oh. We've been here, I think. Oh shit, wait, hang on. What kind of manly men are we talking about here? Okay, it looks fine. Oh, yeah, I remember seeing this. Very cool stuff. Look at that. Look at the contrast between orange and blue. Oh, sorry, let me send the link real quick. Wait, Duvet, how are you choosing these artists again? Are you just like seeing whatever that's coming up on your timeline and then just picking one that stands out to you? Or do you have like, oh, you know, I remember this artist was pretty good. Let me recommend him tonight or something like that. I'm wondering if you're seeing your like preferences for art style and stuff like that as we you know, find some duplicates here and there. Not that that's an issue at all, right? I remember saying that this would have been really good for studying muscles and how to paint them. Oh, bookmarks. I see. Sorry, what's FYP? FP would be like front page. FYP? Oh, is that... I saw something loot. I think that the last time we got to that point, I had to scroll back up to. Let me just skip past it. Oh, shit. Oh, wait, this is quite different. For you page. Oh, never heard that before. I feel like this is kind of weird. I feel like we should have heard about that at some point in time in my life, but apparently not. A For You page. Okay, thank you. Also, thank you, Duvet, for the daily. Indeed, very cool. Oh, look at that. So line art, they separate the black and whites, I guess is what they're saying, and then they set the lighting direction. I don't know what the last one means. Oh, two sets. It means there's two sets. So one set for the darker hair, I think, and one set for the darker clothing. So the lighting and then the base color, lighting and the base color. And then based on the direction of the light, you draw more darker stuff. It looks like there's a lot of ambient occlusion being accounted for, but I guess there's also some of these variations within. And for the face color, he's talking about how to, she is talking about? He or she is talking about how to use because you already get the colors out for... Wait, you already got the shapes out for the hair and the clothing and some of the other stuff. And I think it's trying to just make use of control selects. Control clicks to select certain areas. To clean up the thing. To clean up the pixels, basically. And I keep breaking it down. What is this? Control select and then... get everything reflected, delete all the extra color. Oh yeah, it's just deleting the color that's outside of the stuff that is not. So like the face, if there's any pixels bleeding into the hair, just delete it by selecting the layer and then delete, and then inverting the selection, deleting the stuff outside, I think it was. So it's suggesting like a saturation here. It says, let the purest part be in the terminator between light and dark, like light and shadow. Be outside of it? What does that mean? Oh no, it's just at the... No, it's not outside. It's just at the Terminator, I see. So it's a C-curve, is what it's saying. It's just a C-curve. It's just a C-curve. So they're saying that you have the light, right? And you have the shadow colors. They want to make the colors near the Terminator, near that border, more saturated. So that's just a C-curve, right? You're just going from like... You're just taking a loop into the saturated part of the color circle and then coming back out to for the shadow. So from the light areas, a little bit more saturation near the Terminator, and then you come back out to the desaturated part. That's right, the shadow part. And then this is soft light layer in order to lighten some of these areas. Oh, this is Photoshop, okay. I don't know what camera RAM is. Might be a filter or something. Some kind of a filter to increase the what's this word? The clarity. Actually, yeah, I don't really know. Like some of these very technical terms, I don't know what they are specifically referring to. I would expect like HSV, like, you know, like saturation value hue, but it says clarity for the first one. The second one, I'm not sure. It might be saturation. And then last one is color, I guess. The saturation, maybe the last one is saturation. Anyway, so the link is in the thing. Do you guys want me to send this one specifically? I'll just send it anyways. Yeah, I like the colors in between, right? Like there's like these slightly not related like to the shadow nor related to the color of the hair. There's just some orange in here, some kind of red. And then there's a bit of yellow and green here. Oh, I wonder, wait. Yeah, it would have been fine too, wouldn't it? I think it wouldn't have been that bad. Oh, right, there's loot stuff. I'm gonna have to skip. This looks kind of explicit too. This looks kind of explicit. The more recent ones are... I feel like a lot of shapes gotten way more efficient or something. They're like grouped a lot more. This is what I hope I can achieve, at least into some capacity for this. If not, it's gonna get too messy. Everything else is too clean for that to be messy, I think. But anyways, thank you again, Duve. Wait, but what if I pull lines like this? How am I gonna group this later? That might have to be done on top, I think. Do I want to go more then? This is main, and then I think I want more stuff later. So we have a detail problem. Oh wait, no, it's on the other layer. Right? Where is it? Last thing I want to check would be this. Yeah. I want to break up the shape, so I'm actually gonna force this to be the green line here, I think. Otherwise, the top would be really boring, I think. Yeah, this is such a good shape here. Yeah, I think it's fine, whatever. And then this side? There's a bit more, but yeah, I guess given this angle, I should be able to see that part too, shouldn't I? With how big this thing is. Do I even have space there? Right, because this is targeted here. Actually, doesn't that mean that this would be... Yeah, actually, I'm gonna make seams here. I actually don't know if they have seams here. But I think I would just put some in. Not just to break up the shape, but also to help me guide the clothing here, I think. Sorry, the sleeves here, I'll go. Sorry, oh, okay, wait, hang on. I'm looking at the wrong thing. Which one's the final one? I have like 5 bajillion sketches here, hang on. Where is this one coming from? Oh, it's this. Yeah, good luck to the guy who has to draw the lines, man. I can't tell what's happening in the sketch. Good luck to that guy, whoever that guy is. Who might that be, I wonder. So I don't need that for sure. The only thing I need from this would just be, I think, the legs. So I'm just gonna grab the legs here. Do I need the legs on this? Can I have something else? I do not. Okay. This is a test, so this is new. I don't need that. And then grab a bit of this part here. I don't think I need those anatomy, that's fine. This guy, I don't need the color area. Right? Wait, what? What is this? Right, yeah, I don't need that. Let me just do that. Korewa? You do know. Oh, this one I don't need. I can delete this. And oh, that's the other leg. Oh wait, but if I do that, maybe not this then. Keep it as clean as possible. That means green, white only. I do the bounce. Yeah, I think in this case here with Reno Tuna's one for Twitch, this character in the ref board, because it's more purple, right? Everything's closer towards blue. So the shadows being a little bit bluer, I think, looks nicer. But then if it's green, I feel like it's slightly further away. That I don't want to introduce the blue anymore. So I'll probably just stick to gray. And then the reflected light would just be kind of like what they have here too. There's a bit of reflected light coming on from the bottom. Like on the sleeves, there's a bit of light here. So I'll probably do something similar. And then it will also just be like white and light gray and something like that. And then for the green, right, yeah. It is, Maxi. That's you have a good eye. I found this on Reddit today. There's a subreddit called Reddit Dead Art or something. So it's for people to post art and try to find references. Find the artist who drew it. It's kind of sad because half of the stuff in there feels like people are saying like it's just AI. You can't find anything. But I came across this, and I was looking specifically at this sleeve here because it's the same as what we have, right? It's like a big, really fat sleeve, and then the same pose. So I wanted to just see how they approach the specifically this faux over here. I felt like it's a little bit more like the faux are a little bit smaller, so implying that the fabric is a bit softer. I guess it is kind of soft here. Actually, no, now that I think about it, this is like a jersey, the guy has said. Yes, uni. Let me see. I have the link to it. I can find the exact name of the subreddit. It's called Credit to the Artist. I'm just gonna send this link in the chat so you guys can see for this specific art what it's like, but it's mostly just so that you can go to the right subreddit thing. Ooh, I wonder if, I guess people should be pretty good. I mean, even for Chinese artists, right? Where did my hand go? What the hell? Where did my hand go? I never actually drew the hand. I still have to figure that out. Oh. I'm taking this too seriously. That's making it a little bit, it's definitely a lot more painful to finish off. Where is it, the hand even? It's like here? Yeah, it's here. Okay. No, I did draw the hand. I just, oh, I see. Kind of draw the hand. Kind of drew it. Okay. But it's good enough to go on, I think. So everything should be checked now. Should be fine now. Can finally start to line. Yeah, it's AI's attack, yeah. Very useful, but very sad. Sag. Oh, that's why I didn't. Ah, stupid ass. Okay. Yeah, it still warrants it, I think, but I'm doing it the other way, right? So actually, no, that means I'm cutting what exactly? I'm cutting this. Yum yum yum. Where did my thing go? Didn't I? Oh, wait, what? Did I? Okay. Must have been on a different layer. Hang on. Yeah, it's on a different layer. Okay. Yeah, I can deal with that later. I'll just deal with that later. This other situation here has not... It has changed, but okay, so let me nuke this. And this. And this. Right. This guy is gonna get moved forwards. Cool. Sizing, front back. Front back the same. Cool. Bit of a dip. Maybe I can resolve it a little. Oh, hello, Rez. Do you mean the music or do you mean... Oh, it must be the music, right? I thought you might have meant this art. Oh, my art! My art? That was not even part of the consideration at all. Like, it was not there at all. Thank you, Rez. Of all the things that I was thinking, because people were just talking about the Rhino tuna. Do you guys know which way it is? Is it Ri or is it Rai? But yeah, so I thought it must be like that. And then peace could also mean music. Music's pretty good too. So yeah, it must be music, because I was looking at the other guy's model reference and I was like, oh, it wasn't that piece that's on screen. Dang, dude. Look at that. Very cool, thank you. Oh, it's expressive, thank you. I did borrow, quote-unquote borrow the pose a little bit. You may or may not spot some similarities here. I didn't want to make it too difficult, but then as the feature crept up more and more, now I'm starting to wonder if it's okay for something to be this similar. You know, we've all seen those like allegations of like copy and tracing and whatnot. You can't copyright a pose, right? And from my point of view, because we did the construction and everything underneath before I jumped into this, I didn't technically trace. Like, it's not like I just overlaid it and traced it. So that's why I'm okay with this. But it is very similar. So I don't feel right taking credit for the post necessarily. It is very fitting though. It is very fitting for this situation. What is this? Oh yeah, okay. So everything's now ready for launch. Yeah, I even have most of the shapes ready actually. Because it's white, I'm gonna need a background here to drop it onto, so I can see all the other stuff here. Oh, very nice. Let's see. Let's get the lines ready here. Lines are here. L. C. Oh no, what am I doing actually? I'm not ready yet. This is actually rough. That's not line. And then this is L. Up. So make the main lines. Ref? Notes. Okay. If there's any more effects that I can push that is yeah, I don't know what else I can try. Maybe I might do outlining and stuff like that because this is a lot more graphic design than a render piece at this point. But if I can put in some other stuff that can help make it more vibrant, maybe I'll try that. Because we can potentially do... Actually, let's give it a try now, because I don't think I can get anything too much done anyways from now on, given the time it is. I'm just gonna put on like chromatic aberration. Specifically, I want to get like the maroon to kind of come out somehow. So these guys are all on multiply. They're all locked. 1, 2, 1, 2 is lighten. So because I need that color is what exactly? What color is this? Okay, so it's on this side. I'm gonna take this. This will be the one that we move. And then I need a triangle from this position here. So somewhere here, I think. So I need a yellow. And I need like a bluish tone here. If these are not perfectly like in a triangle, I think the colors will look weird, the final version. So right now it doesn't look that different from the original. That means I picked the correct color. Otherwise it would be skewed towards one way or another. Let me get rid of this. Oh no, I do need that. Let me then put it into soft light then. Yeah, it's still kind of gone. Never mind. Okay, let's just put it on normal. Maybe multiply but with a little bit. It's kind of crap anyways. Alright. I don't move that with this. Yeah, it's not very useful, is it? It's less purple than I thought it was gonna be. The lines might interfere too, actually. Maybe let me get rid of the lines. Let me think. If I want to do this, let me grab the white background and put it in it as well, actually. Let me make a white background and put it inside. Because otherwise any part that's spilling outside is going to be really weird, I think. So I'm going to merge all of these guys. Top 2 needs to be lightened. What did I screw up? Oh, my bad. Hang on. Oh yeah, because I left it on the mode. Yeah, this disappeared, right? Of course. Does it not work? It should work. Yeah, it should work here. Which way do I go? The other way? Oh, I have to go the other way, I think. Yeah, I want this shade. I want this shade. So it's minus 19. I need to make everything else minus 19, because otherwise it'll be a little bit more to the purple side. Which actually really doesn't look that bad either. Yeah, I wish I have a cleaner set of lines to evaluate this with. But at the end of the day, we can try this at the end. Because having some purple to sort of play around with the green, like complement the green, might be nice, right? We do have that thing going already. It's just that I don't want to overdo it. Yeah, I can keep this in mind for down the line, I think. We're also lacking the line art. If the line art was also composited into this the setup, it might be a little bit more vibrant. But the line art does not have the right color anyways at this point, so it's too early for that. I can't quite get that to work anyways. That's fine. So now all I need to do, all I need to do, I got it. Make everything right. Is to do the final set of lines. So because it's already 12:30, I'm inclined to not do this because I'd rather do it in one sitting. If I do a split, I'm warmed up now, and then tomorrow when I start, I'm not gonna be as warmed up and stuff. So probably it's not gonna cause anything like that obvious to be different. But if I'm gonna work on it, I might as well work on it in one contiguous session here. So I have two choices. You know what? Actually, no. I probably only have one. It's currently empty, right? Yeah. I think I'll probably just hop off then. I think. I will hop off and I'll just work on some stuff in the back. I'm trying to finalize my other character's design, so I have to work on it off stream here. And then maybe I can try like a more consistent line and see how that goes. I actually kind of like. I have a slightly different. I wouldn't call it rendering because it's only flat colors, but lines and colors. Consistent. Oh yeah, no, I can just show you guys, right? I think I showed you guys before the reference that I was using for the other stuff, and that one had a really good benefit of being very clean. It's very simple, very clean, and very. It's a lot easier just to show you guys. Let me see. Where is it? What am I looking at? What is on my timeline right now? What the hell is this? Oh, it's a bunch of perverts looking at. Okay, never mind. Someone zoomed. Okay, there's this piece of art, and then people were zooming in onto, like, you know, really closely just to see a few lines, if you know what I'm saying. But anyway, so this is the artist I was talking about. I've shown them before. They just have a very simple and clean style, and it's good for doing design stuff because it's like, you know, it's mostly focused on just the shapes and the colors, right? Big, like, clean lines that doesn't interfere with anything, and then just base colors, and then the colors are very bright, very vibrant. So it's very good for, I think, making like cute character designs. So that's what I'm working on behind the scenes, and then I'm thinking of maybe doing something similar where the line weight is just consistent for this. Yeah, but until I try, I have no idea. So there's a good chance I have to do two sets of lines. Actually, I might render this twice. If I do the consistent one, I don't like it, I might either go in and add some line weights, or I might redo the entire lines and just redo the rendering. Because the rendering, I think for the most part, wouldn't change. So worst case is we just have to redo a line and then readjust some of the base color layer shapes. And then most of the rendering should just be carried forward. And then that should be fine. But anyways, I'll probably hop off here. And thank you guys for coming. Thank you guys for listening to me rant again. I feel like we've been spending a lot of times in the past two streams just talking. This week has just been like yapping, I think, so far. But see you guys tomorrow. Well, for those with the Secret Santa stuff, have fun with that. And yeah, I guess that's it. Thank you, Uni. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night. Goodbye.